Thanks for joining us today on Foreign Dispatches. I'm Doris Okenwa. So let's dig in already. From the consortium of Nigerian women in the UK, comprising of politicians, technocrats, academics, entrepreneurs, celebrating their success, to the Afro Hair Revolution taking London by storm, down to Oxford, where we'll meet the fascinating textile artists. It's a full package we have for you on this edition, with phenomenal women from Africa and beyond. So who goes first? Well, the Nigerian Women in Diaspora Leadership Forum will open the floor. The group recently commemorated their 5th anniversary in London, and it was a remarkable event for many reasons. Find out more after the break.
It's a dynamic industry out there. News, events, personality profiles, and so much more to keep up with. Don't let events pass you by.
I don't know any nominee.
Be the one who knows. Watch entertainment news on Channels Television for the latest celebrity news, an express pass to the A-list event, a trip behind the director's camera. Action. Yes, indeed, it's a dynamic industry out there, but we can help you keep pace. Join us. Get your swagger.
Do not be fooled by the glitz and glamour of the evening. When they are not dressed to the nines and socializing at an event like this, you will most likely find them marching outside the Nigerian High Commission or elsewhere, reminding the world that the Chibok girls must not be forgotten. You'd also find the politicians among them, engaging with their constituencies and debating in Parliament. You'll find the professionals, the academics, and business executives blazing new trails in their various endeavors. On this occasion, however, the Nigerian Women in Diaspora Leadership Forum have converged to celebrate their 5th anniversary. The group was created 5 years ago with a mission statement to encourage the Nigerian woman in diaspora and the Nigerian girl child explore their full potentials.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are asking every man in this room, every woman in this room, to recognize that we are not about taking power away from men. We are about sharing our common destiny. We are about going to our destiny together, and we are about setting the standards for the future and making sure that our daughters do not have to stand up today, where I am, talking about women development. We want to see more women in Nigerian leadership. We want to see more women in government. We want to see more women making laws in this country. The opportunity could not be any better than now. And I'm asking all of you to make sure that today, as you walk home, you look into the agenda and help Nigerian Women in Diaspora Leadership Forum to shatter that glass ceiling.
This mission has evolved to include women of other African descent, while garnering strong international support. The presence of the first black female member of parliament in Britain, Diane Abbott, among other eminent personalities, highlights the impact recorded over the years.
This organisation for Nigerian Women in the Diaspora is an excellent organisation. Nigerian Women in the Diaspora is a group of some of the most talented but community-minded women you could hope to meet. And they've come together not just to support each other and celebrate each other, but to mentor a whole new generation of women of colour, to move forward in business, politics and the community. So these are women who are looking to the future and looking to help and support our young people.
You know, as a woman in public office or in the civil service myself, you know, I love to see hardworking women and love to see what they achieve. So this has been a good initiative. They liaise very well with the High Commission. They bring forward, you know, things of concern to Nigerian women, and, you know, we work quite closely with them.
The 14th of April 2014 will forever be etched in the annals of history as the world woke up to the traumatic news that over 200 young girls had been kidnapped from their high school in Chibok, Borno State, northeast Nigeria by the insurgents, Boko Haram.
The Nigerian Women in Diaspora, among other groups and concerned individuals, are some of the few that continue to protest monthly on the issue, long after international attention has shifted.
We are an organization that are very passionate about women issues. We campaign on gender equality. We campaign on early child marriage. We campaign on domestic violence. We mentor. We believe we've got something from this community, from our society, and we want to give back. Our mentoring project is about giving back. We have taken, and we want to give back to other people.
From the first time I met these women, I knew that they are women who are advocating for issues that affect women, not just in the diaspora, but in Africa as well. So it was only right that I also join and support the good cause. So I want to encourage women out there to support this organization because it speaks for the African woman, not just in the diaspora, but in Africa as well.
And if there ever was a woman who thinks she can be all she dreams of, meet Irene Sinclair, born in 1914, the oldest woman in the London borough of Hackney. The 106-year-old icon was a model. Here's the catch. She retired from modeling when she clocked 100 after her stint as the face of a popular beauty line.
Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, what you do good, good will follow. I tell it all, I never say never. Don't ever say never. Because of me, what I have accomplished. You would agree with me. It's ever and not never.
And if there still is one who disagrees with possibilities, the first black female member of the British Parliament, Diane Abbott, says, keep walking.
28 years ago, this summer, I did something which people said could not be done. I was elected as Britain's first black female member of Parliament. And I'm clear that I stood on the shoulders of people who have come before me, my family, the grace of God. But nonetheless, if I could do that 28 years ago, any of you can achieve your heart's desire.
This is a group of women who are doing excellently well in the community. They are raising the bar of excellence. They are bringing women together so that they can make a difference in the community. And one of the things I love about what they do is their mentoring scheme, so that those who have been there can mentor the up-and-coming ones.
I also believe that if I had people like Diane Abbott and I knew about them when I returned to the United Kingdom, my life would have been better. And because of that, I have learned quite a lot working in this system. And I know that there are women who are still where I used to be when I returned to England. That was the idea behind this group, and I thought that we should come together, work together, find our strengths and advance them.
Welcome to the Channels TV app for the Nokia Lumia phone. Click on the Channels TV icon to get started. Get the latest news and stories, and you can also watch us live by clicking on the live TV icon. We have the eyewitness section so you can post events happening around you. To do that, click on the post. Select Change Media to send an image or video. Enter your username, report title, and report description. Don't forget to read and check the terms and policy box. Click on the post icon and your message will be delivered and could be used if it's newsworthy. Visit our topics page and view our various programs. Channels TV app for Nokia Lumia. The news at your fingertips.
Let's talk about hair now. Natural hair is back in the saddle with a bang, and lots of flavors too. The Team Natural Hair movement is growing in the UK, the US, Nigeria and other parts of the world among black women. But what does this mean, or does it mean anything at all? Now, some people say hair is political, others say it's just a fashion statement. Don't ask me what I think just yet. Karen Chambers has this one. She went to town for us on this mission.
From the UK to the US to Nigeria and other parts of the world, the natural hair industry is on the rise. African women are putting the afro back into vogue. The idea that natural hair is difficult to deal with holds no sway. After all, I'm a convert myself. But aesthetics aside, there's a new type of politics that's emerging. The politics around African identity and the politics around natural hair, which exists all alongside this multi-billion-dollar industry. Going back to the roots of African style, braids, bantu knots, cornrows and the afro are making waves in the lucrative world of hair. Natural, that's chemically free, has never been more popular and desired in the UK, moving out from the shadows of politics and to the avant-garde and the fashion mainstream. It's strange to think that events like this were once scarce in the capital, but now they are cropping up across the UK, feeding black women's hunger for chemically free and low maintenance ways to style their hair. Natural has never had it so good, with so many creative options and so much attention from the beauty industry. Natural hair was once seen as something that was quite radical. Is it still making a political statement these days?
You can be natural and embrace yourself and not be radical. And I think that's a huge stereotype and misconception that, you know, oh my God, now she's gone natural, she's a radical, or she's a Nazi, like a natural hair Nazi now we call it. And so I definitely feel the Woman in the Jungle brand is about saying that you can accept yourself as you are. This is who I am, and embracing that and not looking to Europe as a way of saying that that's a beauty standard. So it's just offering visual inspiration in terms of women being inspired.
For many women of African descent, this is a connection and a statement about being proudly African.
I do think the perceptions of natural hair and beauty have changed over the past few years. On TV, there are definitely, if you watched a lot of the adverts, there are a lot more models in the adverts who have natural hair now. A lot more TV characters have natural hair as in the media, as opposed to just straight weaves, which they had before, or relaxed. Paris Fashion Week or London Fashion Week, pretty much all the models have straight weaves in, or, you know, it won't be their hair in a natural state. So I still do think that there are a lot of areas where work needs to be done, but I do think that there are slow changes which we should all be celebrating.
Because it teaches you how to care for your hair. Personally, I've always struggled with how to style my hair, manage my hair, and I feel like I've been educated today, so I think that's really important.
It's a lucrative trend too. In the United States, around $19 billion is spent annually on hair. The UK spends £5 billion each year, with black women accounting for 80% of sales.
Women want to feel free to wear their natural hair and enjoy it and love it, but have the right products to look after and maintain that type of hair. Because it takes extra care to maintain all the curls and, you know, all the coils and all the waves that natural hair produces. So there's been a big upsurge and uptake in women wanting to free themselves from relaxing their hair or perming their hair or even weaving their hair, and just being able to enjoy their own hair. And so we have been able to supply the need for that demand. People have different earning powers, so we have to look at each country and market specific to that each country based on their spending power, their spending and buying habits, the hair care trends. So, you know, in other markets in Africa, more grassroots level marketing, whereas in a country like the UK, France and Holland and the European countries, you know, there are other ways through social media that we market, through magazines, through events like this that bring us directly to the consumer, where they can come and get advice, hair consultations, and then be able to select the products that they want at an affordable price. But definitely markets like Nigeria, markets like South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, those are the buoyant markets where you have you know, a booming middle class and upper class as well.
Finding a salon that caters exclusively to natural hair or products for home maintenance used to be hard work. Now there are plenty, with a new generation of stylists drawing inspiration from tradition.
Well, a lot of natural hair wearers are doing so because they pretty much want to go back to their roots, where it all began. So you find that as well as going back to where they're hair natural, they're embracing all the African fabrics and colours in their style of dressing. So you find it's a trend, not just with the hair, but also in fashion. And so now that's making what's coming out of Africa a lot more popular in countries like the UK, where if you look around, a lot more Afrocentric clothes are being worn as well, not just amongst Afro-Caribbean people, but also European people too. So it's being appreciated and enjoyed. There's still those die-hard people who want their straight hair, but what it offers is that you have a choice now where you don't have to feel bound to relaxing your hair, and I think that gives freedom. And I think for a hair company like ours, it's not about stating, you must wear a relaxer to use hair products. What we want to do is provide the products that are needed.
For me, it's about 100% of my styling. It's all based on traditional techniques on styling hair. I even use the thread in the salon to straighten hair. I use the raw ingredients in the salon, and that's good. It's a lot of the raw ingredients from Africa. It's got a big influence, which is good. We're all going back home. It's back to home in terms of styling, back home in terms of the ingredients we're using. So it's a big influence.
Embracing natural beauty appears to be a winner. It's too early to predict if the relaxer is on its way out, but what is for sure is that natural hair is here to stay. Karen Chambers reporting in London for Foreign Dispatches.
So, what do you think about that? Karen is here with me to talk about that feature. Karen, it must have been fun doing that, right? And I like the fact that you mentioned that years ago, we couldn't talk about this. Everything was wrong with the natural hair. It was hard to please, but that doesn't hold sway anymore, no?
It was really fun. It was a really fun and very positive energy in the room. There's so many women there of African heritage. It is about embracing who you are.
The freedom to be what you are without having to bother about what other people think. Like, this is the way my hair is, deal with it.
Exactly. I mean, the market for relaxers, the markets for weaves and wigs has been huge for years. Especially if you look at the Supremes in the 1970s and the 1960s, the sort of styles that were around, were very much fake hair orientated, but now there's been this natural hair movement. So natural hair used to be associated with being radical, with being political, if you think about Angela Davis and people like that. Now it's all about embracing your natural beauty, and you could even say to some extent your femininity. It's about going back to basics, and it's not just about hair care. We're seeing this trend in fitness, holistic ways of natural health. So I think this is just another extension of women wanting to take care of themselves, really. And it's about going back to basics. It's about using simple methods, simple materials, and embracing what you've got.
Well, thanks, Karen. That was great stuff. We'll be right back. Foreign Dispatches continues in just a moment. You're still watching Foreign Dispatches, and we've been talking about Nigerian and African women in the UK blazing the trail. We've also talked about the Afro Hair Revolution taking the world by storm. We'll move now beyond African women to Oxford, where we'll meet Prinkie Roberts, a British textile artist whose art speaks to very interesting themes of life. Oxford, one of the fastest growing and ethnically diverse city in the southeastern region of England and the county town of Oxfordshire. But it's the prestigious University of Oxford that gives the area the most popularity. So I'm in Oxford for the Art Weeks, and I would like to meet Prinkie Roberts. She's a bold artist that plays around with textiles, something very different that is not quite popular.
Oh, she's great.
Hi.
Nice to see you, Doris.
Nice to
Welcome.
see you. Thank you very much. Nice to see you. How are you?
Very well.
And meet Prinkie Roberts, British textile artist whose work explores the multiple realities of existence, from themes around sports to migration and refugees, or freedom and endurance of the human spirit. So Prinkie, you're doing something that is not very common in terms of people experimenting with textiles.
Well, I suppose it's a variety of different pieces I've done over a period of years.
I've always been interested in textiles as a child. I did sewing and knitting and things, and I always had an interest in textiles. And I went to art school and studied sculpture. Textiles wasn't an option, and I think the connection lies in between really sculpture and textiles in a way.
Colour is essential to this figurative and abstract textile work, which is mainly hand-sewn, based around movement, form and landscape. Most of the pieces are layered wall hangings with vibrant colours. The materials are thin silks, cottons and chiffons, often hand-dyed and bonded together. Large straight stitching, couching and running stitch using a variety of yarns are added for a surprising finish. Rainbow Nation 3.
Yes, that dates it.
Rainbow
It's the
Nation.
World Cup, wasn't it? I thought I was into figures, doing a lot of figures at that point, and I thought I'd always had figures reclining or seated. And I thought I'd try figures in action. We had footballers, and that I did 4 of them, and they had the colours of the rainbow. Build up the background, layers and layers of fabric first, and then I have a template for the figure, and then I start to piece the figure with other pieces of silk and fabric, and then right at the end I stitch onto it.
How long does producing like one work, something like this here, Eastern approaches?
That is much more laborious because it's a form of darning, which you do with a needle and thread, and you literally go all the way across, and then all the way up, and then all the way across again, and all the way up. I think Eastern approaches was to do with the subject of refugees and displacement, which is because my husband was in international relations, my daughter works in international affairs, my son was studying. It's a subject, obviously, that I was quite involved in. And the plight of displacement and refugees is a current problem, ongoing problem, and that's how I thought I would like to try and tackle a piece on that.
What do we have here?
You have 3 figures, not necessarily male or female, but they're not necessarily coming towards you or going away. But hopefully it's the idea of figures in transit of some sort, figures having to flee or approach a sort of sanctuary.
Textiles are yet to be wholly embraced by the art world. With more classical art forms such as paintings or sculpture, the competition is high. For some, it's just a pastime for women and shouldn't be considered high art. Prinkie disagrees. Does the work appeal to a certain kind of people, or has it been embraced universally?
It hasn't been embraced universally. People are scared of textiles. I think they don't last and they get dirty, and they don't see it as an art form. I think it's experimental, and they think it's... I think they're suspicious of it. I think the art world is slightly suspicious of embracing textiles as an art form. I think they still have it relegated as a domestic female craft, and it really doesn't offer anything to the fine arts.
What is your message about that?
What is my message about it? Well, I suppose it's to disprove it in a way. I think it can be considered as an art form, and I hope that my work can convey some of that, and I think it certainly does with colour and a variety of subject matter.
Art lovers are gradually warming up to textiles as they explore the diversion from traditional forms.
Textiles can actually be regarded, should be regarded, as a mission really, to elevate them to an art level along with painting and sculpture.
And that's what you've done?
That's what I've done. That's what I've tried to do.
Push the limits. Yeah.
I think you push the boundaries and see how far you can go. There isn't a right way, there isn't a wrong way, you just experiment.
I find this sort of art incredible. What's very special about Arts Week is that it opens art up to the public, so you can see what ordinary people are doing as well as elite artists. And for here, I think this is a wonderful example of seeing how people who are leading ordinary lives rather than being full-time elite artists are doing work that's really bold, that's really taking things to new levels, particularly this work with fabric, where it's using such rich colours and using old bits of fabric in really new ways. It's a really dynamic form of art.
And that's a wrap on today's edition of Foreign Dispatches. Many thanks for joining us. Hope you had a great time. I'm Doris Okenwa. Keep well.